Hi guys, Squirrel here. Welcome to another episode of my realistic playthrough of Derail Valley. Doesn't that look cute? The SO60. It looks so cute as a little steam engine. It's great. We're up at the machine factory and I've just pulled all of our 4 DH4s into the service bay because we need to give them a quick service. I noticed also that there's a DE6 here. We don't have the license for it yet. To buy that license, we need to get everything serviced here. What I'll probably do is service them and then put these rare 3 DH4s. I might stick them over here out the way and then flip our DH4 round, shove it on the front of this DE6, and then we'll pick up our license for the DE6 and probably use that. Our goal for today is to get the DE6 license and pick up the Museum DE6, which is currently residing down at City West. So that's the goal for today. We want to take that down to the museum, if we can, and start working on it. We will, of course, annoyingly have to come back here to the machine factory to get the parts for it, but it's a bit of a chicken and egg. You can't get the parts for it until you take the locomotive to the museum in the first place, so it's all part of Derail Valley's rich tapestry. Anyway, I'll get all these serviced and we'll nip over to the shop, buy some stuff, and we'll see what jobs we can take out of here. Right, that will do just fine. We'll leave them there. There's 3 DH4s sat in the platform, but we don't use the platforms for anything. And what we need to get from here is, if I grab hold of this, we're going to need, let's see, I'm not going to buy any of this stuff for the D6 just yet. But I do need, there it is, the demonstrator paint. We don't have any of that in stock because we used it because it's 30 grand a pop and we decided only to buy one. I did buy some soldering reels, so we're good for that. We don't need any more of these things. I'll get one spare DVRT. I think we had one already, but I'll make sure we've got 2. Is there anything else that we want from here? Like I said, I'm not going to fit any equipment, so I think we'll just buy 2 more sand in case we don't have any of that. I should have done a stock check, really, but it's fine. Put that there. 45 grand for 4 tins. $45,000 for 4 tins. It is outrageous, guys. Inflation's gone through the roof. Right. Down here, we've got our DH4, and I'm going to pull it back onto the turntable. I've serviced all the vehicles. Now, there will be a little service fee to pay on that because I just drove those other DH4s out the way, but it'll be minimal. We can clear it at the terminal, basically. What I'm just going to do now is turn this around and then back it up into the D6 that's just over there. So we'll do that. And then I think we're going to have a sleep because it's night time. I wish the weather forecast, I really do wish the weather forecast happened on like a rolling basis rather than only updating at 6 AM because it's actually not terribly useful. It basically means that, you know, I can't say sleep for a few hours and then decide, oh, you know what, it's 3 AM, I'll just set off now because, you know, there's some bad weather coming in at midday, so I'd rather drive in good weather at night than drive in bad weather in the day kind of thing. But you have to sort of sleep until 6 AM just to know what the weather's going to do for that day, which is a little bit annoying. Right, let's light this up. Looks like all the light configuration is currently wrong. Now, I'm not going to be able to physically drive this D6 yet. In fact, it may not even let me hook up to it. Oops. Yeah, that was a little bit firm. I don't know if it'll even let me hook up to it. Let me try. Oh, it does. Interesting. Well, does it let me connect that? It does. How interesting. Can I connect this? That's quite interesting, is it not? I kind of feel like it shouldn't really let you do that. It means that you can drag that out the way, even though you don't have a license. But with the museum version, you can't even put it on the track and move it. It's a little bit inconsistent. Anyway, I'm going to go over to the station and we'll have a little sleep and we'll see how we're fixed. Alright, it's 5 AM. I'm just sorting out my shed here. Looks like I did have another demonstrator paint. Oh well. I've also got a couple of sand. And now we've got another 2 DVRT. So yeah, we're good for painting it for now. That's fine. It'll not go to waste. It's fine. We just didn't need to spend it. Now, I found a couple of jobs that I quite like. These two here. They both go to the harbour. Forestry Trails and Last pays 40k. That's good for 60. And then the one on the right pays nearly 30. So, yeah, decent paying. There is another one here that goes to the harbour and town. If it had gone to the same as this one, C2I, I would have taken it. But it goes to D4I. And for the money, I can't be bothered with it. We'll take both of these. We'll head down to the... Where's the map? We'll head down to the City West. We'll pick up that DE6 museum thing. Have a quick look if there's any jobs going to Harbour that might be worth taking. But other than that, I'll probably go through Oilwell Central. See if we can pick something up out of here that's worth taking. And if not, we'll go to Farm. Now, I want to get the DE6 operational. As well as the museum one, I want to take an actual DE6 with us. In case there's anything heavy, rather than hold 4 DH4s, we'll have 1 DH4 and 1 DE6. So to do that, I need to clear these fees down. So we'll just do that because otherwise we can't buy a new license. Confirm, pay, confirm, pay. No more license fees. Okay, so we just got that to do now. So we scroll down here and we can grab the DE6 license now, which is going to put our copay up and bring our time bonus down by 2%, but I think, that's fine. We'll just grab that anyway. It's 200 grand. It says D6 license, find and re-rail the demonstrator. We do know where that is. So we're going to go and get that, but it means we do now have that license. How much money do we have? 683. We need about 250 or so to bring the D6 back up to scratch. We could get other licenses, but I've not seen a need for the Hazmat 3 just yet. And it is quite an expensive one, so I don't think I'm going to bother with it for now. The copay goes through the roof on that one. So I'll leave that for now. I might grab... We'll grab that because it doesn't cost much and we've got the money for it. So we've got the SO60. What else have we got there? 50k for that one as well. Do you know what? I'm going to grab that. Because that would allow us, although it brings our time bonus deadline down a little bit annoyingly, it would allow us to hold the museum piece if we find it. I believe the 282 is... did we see it? Actually, I don't know if we saw the 282. And the SO60, I don't think I've seen that. If you can remember if we've seen the SO60 or 282, will you please post a comment about it? I don't think we did. But I could be wrong. It's hard to remember. That's enough money spent for now. That's down to 600k. We will be looking to drop this one off first, I think. So we'll take this. We'll pick this one up first, and then we'll pick this one up second. And we'll take the DE6 with us. So I'll just assemble this train, and we'll head off. By the time I come to hand this in, it's probably going to be 6 AM. Yeah, it will be. So we'll get an updated weather forecast as well. Okay, right, I'll do that now. Right, everything is loaded up. I've got the DH4 running. The DE6 is currently turned off. The blue cable and red cable are both connected, but we're not running on the DE6 yet. I may run it later when we get down to City West. If I can pick up the other museum DE6, I probably will turn it on because that thing weighs 120 tons. So I'm just going to run over to the station, chuck these jobs in, and we'll get going. Now, just remind myself of the weights. 120 and 180 tons, about 300 tons. That's 120-ish. So what's that? 400 and something. Okay, yeah, one DH4 should be able to handle this fine. Breaking down the slope here. I haven't set any points yet, so we just need to work this out. We are going to C2I. Well, our first drop is in E E8I. I say our first drop. We don't know if we're going to pick anything else up yet, but let me just get some power on here. Down at the harbour, we'll plan as if we're going to E, and we may have to adjust accordingly depending on what we pick up. So we'll take keeping left all the way into E. And then we go right, 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 left. Right, left. E8I, there we go. So that's that done. And then also we want C2I for when we make that drop. So we'll set that up, which should be a right followed by a left. C2I. And as a reminder, C is something that we reverse into, so we'll drop E, reverse back, drop C. That's the current plan. Now, en route, we need to set that. So currently we're going from the machine factory. We're going to keep right to come straight down City West. We're going to keep left through there, and then we're going to head right into the Oilwell Central. We're going to make a quick stop and see if there's any jobs. Right turn after the farm, and then a left turn followed by a left turn, right turn, left turn into the harbour. Okay, so our en route should be good. Now, when we get down to City Harbour, I've got... Sorry, not City Harbour. When we get down to City West, beg your pardon, if I remember, there was a DE6 here somewhere. I can't remember where it is or where the spawn points are. The station is here. We're going to be coming in from this direction. Now, thinking about it, if there's a DE6 around this area, or maybe around here, I can't remember where they spawn, what I'm thinking is we come down here and we stop before this switch. And that will allow me to disconnect the front DH4. Hang on a sec. Get the hydraulic on. Disconnect this DH4 and the DE6, and then we can reverse either back this way or back this way, depending on where the loco is, because we're going to have to haul it out of there and then shove it onto the train and then pull away. So I'm going to stop around about here. Now this is a 30-kilometre turn, so we're going to look at stop about there. That's my current plan. Good grief. That's my current plan, but we'll see what happens when we get down there. Back off on the brake, I think. Looks like the hydraulic brake on this thing can actually handle the weight pretty good. So we're just coming down this stretch here. We've just gone past there. We're currently here. We're coming down to City West. Pick something up. Going to go through Oilwell Central. See if we can get a nice job out of there. We've got a D6 behind us, so we can haul something fairly significant out of here. Let's just remind ourselves what the DE6 is capable of. Effectively, off the numbers here, and these are to be taken with a pinch of salt, off the numbers here, this is roughly equivalent to two DH4s. So if you remember, DH4 can do 600, 2000 on the flat, 500 in the wet. DE6 more or less doubles these numbers here. So a lot of pulling power, basically. It's almost like we've got 3 DH4s. The main thing is the D6 is very heavy, so it does get its traction down better than a DH4. And if we hook the slug onto it, it will get its power down even better. But we shall see. So this is City West. It's saying that switch is going to the right. Why would that go to the right? That should go left. I didn't check that. Blimey. Okay, let's get the brakes on. Yeah, that little switch thing just saved me there. I saw that and I thought left, that's not right. Or rather right, that's not left. Okay, I'm just going to stop here. Lovely. That's the merge track right there. That's what we wanted to stop before. So let me just have a quick look around, because I do vaguely recall seeing a DE6 here. I think the spawn area is over here. Maybe not near the shop, maybe by this track here. Don't see anything down there. Don't think it'd be here. It's usually not far away from a track. Maybe it's up, like, over here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Yeah, okay. Alright, this is it, I think. Yeah, there we go. Okay, lovely. Right, let's re-rail it over here. How much is that going to cost? 2,000, so it's... Closer it is, the cheaper it usually is. So it's a balance between cost and convenience. See, that's 8 grand. If I put it here, it's only 2 grand. Not that we're hard up for money, but... You know. Right, we'll leave the handbrake on for now. Other switch is set. That switch is set there. Right, so we need to pull forward to that switch there and then reverse back down that way. Basically, it's in the passenger bit. Now, I kind of want it behind our current DE6 because I want to maintain the connection and power through there. So what I'm going to do is put that brake on. We'll disconnect that. Now remember, you can't remote control a DE6, but you can remote control a DH4. And as long as the blue cable's connected, it will operate it. Which is what I intend to do. I need to get back to here and then go left. I didn't actually check the weather forecast. I should have looked at the board when I was in the station. It looks sunny at the moment, but you never know. In the valley it can change very quickly. Right, put that back on switch. Turn that. We'll jump on the back of this. Fabulous. So yeah, we're going to get this over to the museum as soon as we can. If we see any more locals on the way, we'll stop at Oilwell Central Farm, because I can't remember if there's anything there. I'm trying to remember where we saw the steam trains. I really can't remember. But if there is anything on the way, we will of course grab that as well. Now we have the licenses for it. Now this thing, like the other one's going to sound like a bag of nails when we start dragging this. It's, you know, it's all seized up and rusty. It will present more friction than a fully running DE6 would, but we've got plenty of pulling power. But it's something to bear in mind. If you're thinking of picking up something at the Oilwell or farm, don't get something too heavy, because this is not a normal DE6. This is a rusty DE6, which offers a lot of friction. So it weighs more than its 120 tons, put it that way, in terms of trying to move it. Okay, that should do us nicely. Connect that. Now, I will connect the blue cable. Actually, no, I won't connect the blue cable. Yes, I will. Because, you know, it will offer control to it, but it's not going to take any control, let's face it. The levers will probably move inside the in the cabin. Let's have a look in the inside of this. Look at it. It's a sorry state, isn't it? Like, there you go. It's operating the reverser. The brake is cut out. The handbrake is off. D6 handbrake is on the outside, which is useful and not useful. I'd say probably more useful than not, but it does catch you out because you tend to look around in the cabin to try and find the handbrake, and you can't find it, and it's on the outside. But, you know, if they all did that, it would be kind of handy. There's good and bad. It does mean you have to have access to the cab before you can operate its handbrake, which is probably safer, but it is more convenient being on the outside. Right, there's our stuff. Now, we're up against the clock. I can't remember how long we've got on this job. 126 minutes, okay. 2 hours is a good amount of time. Right then. Yeah, the good thing about these rusty museum trains is that the cables, the brake cables and so on and so forth, they're always like brand new operational. They're not broken as well. If they were broken as well, you'd have a much bigger problem on your hands. Yeah, we'll get it painted up. Get it sanded down and painted up. We will have to go back to the machine factory to get the parts for it, though. If we can find another locomotive, it will be very beneficial, because if we've got to go to the factory anyway, we can, of course, carry 2 parts back in one go. So if we can find a second locomotive somewhere, that would be lovely. Is that enough? Is that enough? Oh, you scumbag. That's strangely glitched into the body. There we go. Oh my word, I'm struggling. Come on. There we go. I'm trying to click that centerpiece and the game's not letting me. Right, blue cable, red cable. And then finally handbrake. Lovely, right. I think we're done. Look at all broken windows and stuff. Looks terrible. Thing is, once we've painted it, it will honestly look fantastic. But it's going to take us some time. Right, so we're going to go to the Oilwell Central. We are going to go right into B, and we're going to go right and left, and then we're going to pull up here and see what the situation is. When we get to farm, we're going to do the same thing, keep left into B, and then right and left, right, left, into the farm. And that should be that. Let's see what opportunity brings. Right, coming up on the Oilwell Central. Now this is going to be a quick stop and see if there's anything worth taking down towards the harbour. It's not really worth diverting towards City South or Coal Mine South, but most of the jobs out of here will go to harbour anyway, so that's not really an issue. I'm going to try and pull up near the station so we can run over. We have a Hazmat 2 licence currently, so we can't take a Hazmat 3. Okay, if we do decide to haul something out of here, I will be turning on the DE6. Let's see what we got. Let's see, going to crude, harbour, oil refinery. So there's 2 jobs. Well, this one here is paying 60k, 765 tons. That's well within the capability of 1 DE6, and the DH4 can handle the rest. So that's actually a decent job right there. That's going to go to E8I. That is interesting because... that's actually very interesting because our job here is also going to E8I. So we can quite literally drop the whole thing off. That is amusing to say the least. Let me grab the job. We won't start the timer on it. B40. Let's get the train pulled forward. That is incredibly fortuitous. Let's see. Come on, get moving. Oilwell Central. Let me just double check we can do that job. That's a Hazmat 1. Yeah, that's fine. We can do that. B40 is here, so that will be a left, right, there. This is 6S, so basically our job should be here somewhere. So that one? Yeah, I think this is it here, 40. Should be a board back here. There we go. Right, that is pretty incredible luck. There's no doubt about that. These jobs are easy to distinguish because these that are going to go to C2I, these flatbed trailers here, So when we do get to E4I in Harbour, we're going to just disconnect there. That will be the plan. Let me make sure I stay within range for this. So yeah, we basically just got a 90 grand bonus. We're already going there anyway, and now we've got another job. And this is how you make the best money. It really is. There may well be a better job at the farm. You know, there could be like a load of grain, but grain is very heavy. And, you know, 765 tons, that's a good weight for us, considering what else we're hauling. But, you know, as they say, a bird in the hand's worth two in the bush, as the old phrase goes. So a job here is worth a possible maybe job down at the farm. This is a guaranteed 90k if we can get it there on time, and I think we can get it there on time. Okay, left turn. Signal strength is still fine. Left, left. I don't think those switches are right. Those switches don't look correct to me. Left, left. Right, okay, it was just hiding. Yeah, it is correct. Back in the day of Derail Valley, these didn't have operational switches on them, and this didn't have operational switches on them. You had to rely entirely on this. And it was not easy, particularly when the weather was bad and, you know, camera angle was wrong, and it was easy to misclick something, but things have developed over the years, and it's a little bit easier now. Of course, on the roadmap for this game, apart from a new map, there's supposed to be AI traffic, I think. That is going to really change this game massively. Having to deal with other traffic and switches being changed en route will completely change the way you play this game. I think I just about nailed that. Look at that. Connect that, do that. Let the brakes fire up. Now, are we lucky with the handbrake? We are lucky with the handbrake. Look at that. Let me hand the job in, and then we'll fire up the D6. This is the job we're going for. B40, E8I. I can't believe that. E8I. That is a stroke of luck, that is. To be able to drop two high-paying jobs off on the same track is just insane. I think I might put some lottery tickets on later. Okay, right, the D6. I think I already put the breakers. Oh, this is not something I intend to try and start. Let me try that again. Double check the breakers are on. Breaker, breaker. Then we open that. Is that fired up? Yep. Alrighty then. Right, let's get going. We've got no time to lose now. It's taken quite a while to release those brakes now. And as a reminder, we are looking for about 40 to 50k speed in order to round that corner there, so that when we go round it, we've got the momentum to make that climb. And once we're through that hill, it's pretty much plain sailing. But honestly, I think we'll have no problem. This is well within the capabilities of these two locomotives. Right, I've got the speed up to just over 50. I'm just going to back off. Let the engines cool a little bit. And then as we start to make this turn, we'll floor it. I need to set the length of the total train now. It's about 600. I did some quick calculations. We have a 120, a 180, plus this one that we added, which was a 250 roughly. Okay, let's get the power back on. Plus the length of the D6s, plus the DH4. It's roughly 600. Rough figures are enough. Right, so get the power on. The DH4 will overheat quicker than the D6. Two D6s are more capable than 4 DH4s, certainly in terms of cooling. So this thing is going to struggle with temperature. So we may have to back it off shortly, but so far so good. Now hitting the 1.8 gradient. I'm going to back off the throttle because we're about to start tripping. Yeah, there you go. You can see the whole back of the train. We're about halfway at the moment. So the back of that is still going around that big gradient. And then the rest of it has to go up this 1.8. I'm going to leave the DE6 running once we... well, all the way to the harbour, really. And the reason for that is once we make this turn here, this is relatively flat. And then all of this from about there is a long descent, as we know. And I can benefit from the DE6's cooling capabilities on the traction braking, effectively, which will help to not have to use the brakes. So it's, you know, better than using the brakes. We can just use some dynamic braking. So I'll leave the engine running. We don't burn much fuel on the descent into the harbour, and we've only burned, what, a quarter so far since we serviced this, so it's pretty good going. Yeah, 30 Ks, we're easy going to do this. Absolutely superb. I did, as we went through the farm, I did actually have a very quick look around, and I couldn't see any museum locomotives around there. I've got a feeling, did we pick up the DM3 from the farm? I can't remember. It was a while back. But if I remember, back at the museum, as well as this DH4, we've got 2 locomotives down there, have we not? We've got a D2 and a DM3. And that means that I didn't get the part for one of them because it could only carry 2 parts. Which means if we get the part for this DE6 from the machine factory, we can also carry the part we need for the other locomotive. Which means we're maximising our trip back to the machine factory to get the parts. So that's good. I think our wallet can deal with it. We've got 600k. We're going to need to spend 200k just on parts. We've already bought the paint. And then we've got to service the DE6, which will take about another 100k. So we need about 300 for that. But we're going to get some... probably... what? How much are we going to get for this lot? Let's say... what's that? 27, maybe like 40 to 50 for that. Another 60 for that, so that's like 100k right there, isn't it? And then this one was another 90k. So yeah, we'll probably make 180, 200, something like that from these jobs, which should more or less pay for the DE6 parts. So I'm confident by the time we've done it all, we should be still on about 500,000. Which is a good place to be in. Now, we haven't done up if I remember, we haven't done up the DM3? I can't remember which ones we've done now. I need to check when we get down there what we've actually... I don't think I've paint and sprayed everything, let's put it that way. I think we only did the DH4. So we'll take a view on it when we get down there as to what we're going to do up. I want to keep the cash flow going, obviously, but I don't want to... you know, I'm trying to get through the museum pieces as well. And I don't think we've found all of them yet either. Right, let's back the throttle back now. We'll just cruise our way down. I have to say, this DE6 is doing a cracking job of dynamic braking this lot. I think I put 3 notches of dynamic braking and, yeah, it's just holding it steady. I've not touched the brakes yet. So I'm going to have to actually back off a little bit on the dynamic brake. There we go. And the heat generation is fine as well, even on the DH4. And I think the weather's turning. It feels like the sunshine's backed off. which means we may be due for some overcast weather. I do wonder if there's rain coming later. Let's get some more braking back on. You could do 50 down here, no problem, but you've got to deal with that 40 sharp turn at the end. So I just like to keep a steady pace if I can. But if you're up against the clock, you could do 50, maybe even 60, and then drop it to 40 at the last minute. The real trick of this bend is just knowing when to release the dynamic brake. Relatively flat here, but then it sort of undulates quite a lot. You can hear the wheels are complaining. Okay, I'm going to start the distance tracker just here. These trees, I need to fix this. Look at this. Every time you drive around the track, there's like trees on the track. Back in the day, there used to be bushes on the track. That I think it dynamically generates the trees. It's a bit weird. Okay, as soon as that speed starts to drop, I'll knock off a bit of dynamic brake, but the back end of the train's still pushing us down right now. We want to then just coast until we get to that sharp left turn. Actually on a bad gradient here, look at that. I think we need more brake, not less. Yeah, let's get a bit more going. There we go. Right, so the back of the train's through that bend now. I may have to bring in some normal brake here, maybe. We'll see. A bit more dynamic. Let's see if we can get it under control. Ideally, I just want to use dynamic all the way down, but I don't know if it's going to be possible or not. We do have a heating problem on the DH4. So I'm going to have to back off now, I think. Never gets old, that view. You come out of that tunnel and you just look across the harbour. I just wish they'd have ships coming in and out. I think that would really be the icing on the cake, you know? Just to have some model ships driving around. Make it feel like the harbour's alive. Like, there is some animation in the game, isn't there? There's some cranes that move around on the track. You can see them sort of moving around. You never see them picking anything up, but you do see them moving. I think to have ship movement would be kind of cool. Probably not hard to write either. This is great. We're dynamic braking all the way into the harbour. I'm just going to start a timer for that bit. Because that is the tight turn. You could actually do more than 40 down here if you wanted to. We're going to do this without the brakes? I'm not so sure. The temperature's rising quickly. I'm going to bring one notch of brake in. Just to help, because I'm going to have to back off now on the dynamic brake. There we go. I think we could have done it just about without using any normal brake. Let's release the main brake. It was fun trying though. Through. Okay, so right, we're going to Harbour. E8I is our main drop-off, isn't it? Right, left. To remind ourselves, we are dropping the tankers and these things here, and then we're going to move the trailers to sea. Perfect. Look at that, it's still winding through. It's quite a long train, this one. But then we have got 3 jobs on here. Right, the main things to watch for now is just if I've made any mistakes. It looks like that is our input line there. That's the only empty one. Left turn, right, left. 8i, empty. Perfect. So what I'll probably do then is, once we've disconnected, is I'll pull forward and reverse back down this main line and get on the train and come back with it. And then we'll hand the job in while it's reversing towards sea. Fabulous. Look at that. And great weather as well. Couldn't have asked for better weather than that. Start slowing down. So we actually want the trailers to come just past this board here roughly. I think all of this should just about fit in, but I do want to make sure we get fully far forward on this. Okay, I think that's us jumping out. So we can go all the way, as the dev said, it's not the marker board that counts. We should be able to get away anywhere down here, really. And hopefully that will mean both of the jobs are fully inside 8i. The brake. And anywhere around about here should do us. Lovely. Right. Let's get that handbrake on there. Now, the only thing I don't know for sure is that. The only thing I don't know for sure is if we have to put a handbrake on the other job or not. You know, that back set, the oil tankers. So I'm not 100% sure on that. I've never actually tested it. If we've got the handbrake on the whole lot, but this is a separate job to that one, does that still count for that tanker job? I don't know. We need to get past, where are we? That sign there. That one, that one. Okay, that'll do. And we'll send it to the right, and then to the left. Right, left. Now, I could turn off the DE6 because we don't have much weight now. So I might as well save a bit of fuel. What I think I'll do is I'll jump past... Actually, you know, I was going to turn the handbrake on that tanker car, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it... I'm going to leave it turned off and just put this one on, because I want to test that. I want to know the answer. I'm just going to jump on this DE6. The other thing I need to do is switch... C, so that we reverse down into C. Let's get on here. Turn that off. Yeah, let me try and hand both jobs in. Because what I don't know is, do I need to disconnect these two and put the handbrake on the tanker cars? And I'm going to get the answer. There's something cool about just riding along on a train that's just idling. I don't know what it is, but I just love it. Don't worry, sir. We will get you fixed up. We're going to give a nice sandblast. New engine. You're going to look fantastic. The default spray paint, the DVRT, will look like this. It'll be orange and blue. But there's also a show paint. What speed's that doing? 24. Okay. That should roll its way into C. Which I'm just going to double check. Left, right. Okay, station should be over here. Right, go, go, go. Let's see if we can hand both of them in. If not, we're going to be running back. Alright, tanker one first. This is the important one. It will take it. 90k. That is good to know. And another 60k. Okay, well that answers that one. So you just need to leave one handbrake on. And if it's connected to something with a handbrake on, it doesn't care. That was the easiest 90 grand ever, wasn't it? It really was. Get it set correctly. So what we'll do is we'll reverse into here and we'll just leave the locos there because we can basically drive back out of here and head in that direction straight up to the museum. And get that DE6 pushed in. In fact, we could reverse all the way up and then we can just reverse it straight in. Actually, that would make more sense. Because if we drive forward, we're automatically facing the wrong way for the museum. 2i, double check, 2i. Right here should do it. And brake on. May as well take a ride. So these things weigh, this is 120 tons, another 120 tons. The DH4 should be able to push both of them out the harbour. No problem at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reverse. So I'm going to drive out of here to like there, hand our job in, and then we're going to reverse all the way out of here up towards City South. So we'll come out of the harbour and take a left, basically, and then we'll go towards City South. Speaking of City South, let's set ourselves up for that. So we're going right, right, right into the museum, basically. Bang, bang, bang. Listen to this. Can you hear that? That's what the broken DE6 sounds like. Okay, flick that. How much was this one worth? Okay, so that's about, what, 50 or something. Not bad. Not bad at all. 40. 40k. What's our fees looking like? 8 grand on the DE6. That is very cheap. Considering we made the best part of what, 100 and... I don't know what it was, 170, 180k. Most of the fuel has been burned in the DH6. So, we will have to get this service, but we've got plenty at the moment. Let's get ourselves up to the museum. It's pretty extraordinary. You know how I said to you it was sunny, and I said to you it looks like the weather's turning? As I drove up the hill, it was still sunny. As I got round that corner there, it went very cloudy very quickly, and as I come along this bit, spots of rain have started to appear on the windscreen. So yeah. The weather in Derail Valley can change on a dime. Luckily for us, we're absolutely fine. However, the big problem is going to be wheel slip. And also, because we're reversing, I do have to keep my eye out on the speeds. Because there are a couple of sharp bends around here. And the issue with reversing is, like, you need to have your remote really, because otherwise you have to keep turning around to see what speed you're doing. But I don't know, there's something about it. Every time I head to the museum to do a bit of work, it starts to rain. It's uncanny the way it works. It's like the game just knows. Oh, that's a bit squeaky. 50 limit, we're doing 50. You gotta love that squeak. Right, since we're going to be getting our own DE6, we are going to have to buy some equipment for it. A clinometer is a must, a switch setter for me is a must, an anti-wheel slip computer, we'll stick that in as well. Speedo, time, we'll put the internal dimmable lights in there as well. We'll have the external lighting, which we'll have to mount in slightly different places on the DE6, but it's still useful. So we're going to have to buy a load of stuff. And a lot of those things are only available up at the goods factory, but we don't have to fit everything at once. We can get some of the bits and pieces at Machine Factory when we go there. And then when we go over to the goods factory next, we can get the rest of the equipment. We're going to do it DH4, DE6 initially, but there will come a point when I'll probably want to run 2 DE6s and not use the remote. The remote is incredibly useful, but if we're going to do the big hauls, having 2 DE6s will be the way to go. You could run a DH4 at the front anyway and have 2 DE6s. You could do that. It's up to you. And the cool thing is if you get the wireless controller, there's like a box that you can put in one of your, say, DH4s. So what you could do, you can have a DH4 like this one, and then a wireless controller, and then you connect this to a DE6 at the front of your train. So this thing basically, this train operates that one through the blue cable, but then you get your Museum DE6 and you put that at the back of the train, and you put a wireless controller unit here and one in that DE6 at the back of the train, and this wireless box will control that as if they were connected via a big blue cable. And that means you can basically have top and tail, like front and back power, which is interesting. There are combinations. You don't have to use the blue cable. You could even put the power in the middle of the train if you wanted to. It doesn't matter where it is, as long as it can get to it wirelessly. Because it's wireless, it will have a range of about up to 500 meters maximum. But if you get a caboose, it will boost the wireless range anyway. Let me slow down here. What's our gradient? Okay. Are we coming up on the... It's getting difficult to see where we are. There we are, museum. Okay, now, I will need to give it more time to slow down because the track is going to be very wet now. Okay, time to slow down. Listen to that. There we go. Don't want to come in too quickly. Now, what I'm going to have to do, this is going to be... What we're going to do is we're going to put the Museum DE6 onto the turntable, and then pull the rest of it forward, and we'll use that little shunter thing there to push it into place. It'd be nice to use that DE2, wouldn't it? But I don't think we fixed it up. We'll just pull it out the way to here somewhere. Ooh, that's one clear. And there's the thunder and lightning. We'll shut that off. Okay, let me just check on the situation. I need to remind myself what we did and didn't do. So this one is still in need of painting. Yeah, it's just totally dead, isn't it? All the gauges are broken. Yeah. So that one didn't get touched. Pretty certain this one didn't get touched either. But we did bring the parts back for one of them, but I can't remember which one. We did bring the parts back for one of them. Right, where does the DE6 go? So, the bay for the DE6 is directly to the left of the DM3. So we need to reverse it into here so that it generates the job over here so we can go and pick the parts up. At the moment, we don't have any jobs generated. Right, let me get that moved. Right, let's double check this is the right bay. DE6. It's a real pain, this thing, to see what you're doing and operate it at the same time. That didn't sound good, did it? Let's see. I'll leave the handbrake on. I left the handbrake on, didn't I? That's what I did. There we go. Okay, let's try again. The weird thing about being in the museum when it rains is that the track is wet. So you get wet track friction in the museum when it's raining, even though we're completely covered. It's really difficult to see. Well, we're out with this thing. Okay. It's generated the job. Well, it sees it anyway. That is just forward of here. I think I'm just going to put it forward just a touch more. The wheel slip is real. This thing's not particularly capable. It's not really meant for shunting operations. Ideally, I'd have the DE2 up and running. Can't do that. Ideally, I'd have the DE2 up and running. We can just use that to do some shunting around the museum. Which is something I may have to consider doing, is just getting that thing online just so I can push stuff around here. Okay. Do I want to... Yes, I do. I want to leave this here. Can't seem to get hold of... There we go. Real hitbox problem then. Get out of there. Right, we're going to go reverser forward. Gearbox. I'll do that. And then what I want to do now is basically reverse this back onto this thing, because we're going to take both of these out to get parts, aren't we? Let me just see if it generated the job for that. Insert wallet to pay. There we go. So that's 30 grand job. D6. 30,000. That's actually less than I thought it would be for that part. So it's 30,000 for that. It'll cost us 200 grand to do it up. The part will be waiting for us up at the machine factory. Which does make me wonder what I did with these, because there's no way we have done 4 parts. We've done the DH4 there. We've not done that one, and we must have done one of these two. But I can't remember the order that we did them. Right, let's cut that. So I have put that little thing, I've connected it to the other car that we need. And I'm going to spin that round now so we can basically haul this out of here. I did actually check, actually watch my own video, Meg, and I realised that we actually paid for all the parts on this thing. So what actually we did on a previous video was we collected the part for the DM3. That's already here. We've paid for the part on the DE2, but we've not picked it up yet. So, given that we've now got this one paid for as well, what that means is that when we go up to the machine factory, although we've just paid for that job, wherever it's gone, wherever that went, there, the DE6, we've already paid for the DE2, so both parts will be waiting for us up at the machine factory. So when we tell it to load, it will load both of them. That's what I'm trying to say. So, I'm going to get this thing reversed onto here. I think we'll probably go back down to the harbour to get a good haul out of the harbour. There's probably not a lot going on here. Bit of a shame, really, but the harbour's just got better jobs, so it's just not worth it. So I'm going to get this thing connected up. We'll drive back down to the harbour, and I think we're going to have to hope for some better weather. There we go. We're on our way. I got instant wheel slip as I tried to get out of the harbour, though. Out of the museum. The lights are all completely wrong as well. Well, here we are, back at the harbour. It's a little bit different to what it was before. What I've decided to do, because we've got just over half a tank of fuel, which is, it's okay, but it's not ideal. I think I'm just going to quickly pull into the station here, well, the service bay, and we may as well just refuel everything. And if there is any repairs need doing on any of those two, we'll get them topped up while we're here. And then I'll have a look at the jobs, and I might even sleep and try and get rid of this rain. I don't mind travelling at night if we have to, but I'd rather not travel in the rain. Just need to get our car onto that yellow bit. Have a look at where we are. Is it recognising them? In range 3 of 3. Perfect, that will do nicely. Let's put the handbrake on. Turn the engine off. It is properly chucking it down with rain. Okay, so 087 is the one that it sees first. So this will be the one that needs the most diesel. And then the one behind it is 44 is the DE6, I think. Okay, that's not too bad. And then L001, bit of mechanical damage, bit of wheel damage. So yeah, not too bad. 14k, I mean that, considering what we've earned from these locomotives, 14 grand is just absolutely superb. Right, guys, I think we're going to have to leave it there. In the next episode, what we'll do is we'll have a look at what jobs we've got available, sleep as required to try and get rid of this horrible rain, and we need to get ourselves back up to the machine factory to get our parts, and then we're going to come back and we're going to basically renovate our DE6. At that point, we'll have our own DH4 and DE6, and if we've got enough money, I might even do up the DE2 as well, just so we've got that nice shunter up at the museum. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Give me a thumbs up if you did. Until the next one, take care, guys. Happy training.